It is such a simple thing to get cured. Of your physical problems is the easiest. Then the second comes is the problem, as they say, is of stress. It's a common disease in the West of the stress. What is the source of stress within us? The source of stress is very simple. That when we think, I mean these days the amount of thinking we do. First of all, when I came to America, I was very confused because of the choices you had. You walk into any bathroom, you better ask the owner, how do you operate? Otherwise, suddenly you'll find you have fallen into a big swimming pool, suddenly it opens out for you. Or maybe you open some sort of a shower and it becomes a torrential rain upon you. So many choices which maddens you completely. What is there to choose about how you will have your scissors? As long as the scissor works, it should be all right. It is so complicated because so much of machinery, they have to produce so many things, so many varieties. Right from A to Z, whether it is a dress, whether it is a hairdo, whether it is a carpet, or with an ordinary thing which we call as the handle of the car. Before getting into the car, better ask the driver how it operates, otherwise you'll be locked. There is no uniformity kept about these useless material things. And so the choices are so many. You go to the shop, you go mad. You don't know what to buy. You just ask them, I just needed some, say, powder for my body. Now, which one you want? This one, they'll give you 32 things. You start wondering, oh God, I have only one body and 32 things, what to buy? It's so difficult to locate something that you need because you really don't know. This is natural number one, this is absurd number two, like that goes on and on and on the list. For a small nonsensical thing like that. Then tomorrow you go in the market, you find that's gone out of market. Now another 32 things have come back. All such maddening things put you to thinking, what should I do? Then we have to plan out everything in the future. It is so much so that by temperament people have become futuristic. Like they are sitting here listening to me, but they are thinking now, how will I go home? And what food I will be eating? Then what music I will have? They are sitting here at present, but thinking about something that's going to happen. Then too much planning they will do. They do not know the plan of the divine. They'll plan it out, rush, go forward, do this, go to the airport. What has happened? The plane is delayed 3 hours. Why? Because they are congestion. Holiday cancelled. They had planned the holiday a year ahead. Poor things, you see, packed everything to go somewhere. Holiday had to be cancelled because the planes are not moving. So they sit down on the airport 3 days waiting for something to happen. Nothing happens, they go home. But a yogi does not plan. He knows what's going to happen. He does not bother. But supposing a yogi gets lost on the way, then he thinks, all right, if I'm lost, there must be something here, I must see it. I am there with myself, I am not lost. So let's enjoy. After all, what are we going to miss? It is something one has to see, that as we are so much stressed and under the domination of this watch, that we all the time rush, rush, rush. Even the jobs that we do, we are supposed to rush. You may rush as much as you like, but the problem is your mind also rushes with it, and the whole personality gets involved in it. But if you have seen a wheel, the whole wheel moves, but the axis has to be steady. If the axis also starts moving, there is stress. That's exactly what happens to us, that we start moving with all the tensions that are so called, I call them. Now, there is a center within us which we call as Swadhisthana center. Is the second center which, as you see, is working out the void. We call this as the void, not the Zen void, but this is the void. And this area is worked out by the Swadhisthana, which looks after the liver, the pancreas, the spleen, the kidneys, and part of the intestines. Physically, or in the medical terminology, we can say the aortic plexus manifested by this center works it out. Now, when the center is doing this work, in balance is all right. But when we think too much, then the same center has to convert the fat for the use of the brain, to make it into grey cells. But when we think too much, then it neglects other important work which it has to do. So you get a liver trouble. I find at least 50% people in the West are suffering from liver trouble. They are not aware of it till they get to cirrhosis, to skin troubles, this, that. They will not know that they have a bad liver till they have jaundice or other diseases which are caused by liver problems. Then we have people who have lethargic livers also. So we have two types of people who have lethargic organs or overactive organs. So this Swadhisthana chakra cannot look after its duty in a balanced way, creates a kind of an imbalance. So you neglect your pancreas, you get diabetes. It's a funny idea that is now prevalent, that we should not take sugar, because I don't know from where it has come, because they think it causes you diabetes. It does not. In India, in a village if you go, they have to put so much sugar in the tea that the spoon must stand at right angles. Otherwise they won't take. And nobody has diabetes. They have never heard about it. Never known. What is diabetes? What is that? They'll say. The reason is they don't think. They live for the moment. All right, today is the work, let's go do this farming and come home and sleep off. They don't think too much. We think about everything, plan out everything. Whatever is spontaneous also we think about. Then the third thing that happens to you is the trouble of the spleen. Now spleen is our timekeeper. It gives us a rhythm. As you have seen the rhythm today, the same way it's the rhythm of the life is kept by the spleen. When you go into an emergency, then the same spleen starts producing more red blood corpuscles for your use. Now today's life, as it is all the time shocking. Early in the morning, you read your newspaper. I think this is one of the worst habits. Because as soon as you see the newspaper, the first shock in the morning is, oh God, so many dead, plane was crushed, war has started, somebody fell from somewhere, all horrible things in the newspaper. Because newspapers don't believe in giving something good news, you see. If there will be peace and happiness, what will they publish? I don't know. So they want to give shocking news. So there's some sensation in the body. It has happened to such an extent that now unless and until the music is sensational, unless and until we get a shock all the time, we do not react. Of course, the joy part is missing, no doubt about it. So this poor spleen doesn't understand this personality which is all the time under shock. Then you get into your car and on the road there is a jam, finished. You had to reach at such and such time and there's a jam. So now you are cursing everything, sitting down there worried. Suddenly you find an accident. Then you go in the office or some place where you are working. The boss has had a quarrel with his wife. So he comes and shouts at you, another shock. All the time you are facing very arrogant, horrible people. I mean, I myself was afraid to go to shops or anything because suddenly they jump on you like a horse or sometimes like a dog. God knows how they will react on you. You get a fright. What's the matter with them? Why are they so shocking? But all of them are under stress. And they're taking it out on you. But the worst thing that happens with this spleen going crazy, that you get blood cancer. Blood cancer is caused by hectic life and for speedy life that we lead. Now the blood pressure comes from the kidney. And like that, so many things are caused by one simple thing, that we think too much. What is there to think? I just don't understand. Whatever has to happen will happen. By thinking, nothing is going to stop. By thinking we have achieved nothing. If you read Einstein, who has developed the theory of relativity, at the very outset he says that I was tired and I was lying down in my garden playing with soap bubbles, and suddenly from somewhere unknown the theory of relativity dawned upon me. Whatever we have is there. Whatever we have to find out comes from the unknown. But thinking about it like mad just ruins us. But if I say don't think, you cannot stop it. I know that. Because we had a wonderful doctor in Switzerland. He came and he said, Mother, do what you like. You cut my throat, you cut my head, but stop this thinking. I'm going mad with it. So you develop a momentum of thinking. You all the time thinking. Now what happens with the Kundalini? When the Kundalini rises, passes through your Agya Chakra, you go beyond thought. It is like one wave of thought comes up and goes down, another wave of thought comes up and goes down. In the center there's a little space. So one comes from the past and goes to the future, or the future to the past. In between there's a little space, and that is the present. So when the Kundalini rises, passes through this Agya Chakra, the one that gives you thought is the ego and the superego on both the sides, as you can see clearly. They are sucked in. Your karmas are sucked in. Your ego is sucked in. Your conditioning is sucked in. And you stand at the present moment. Then if you want, you think. If you don't want to think, you just sit down in complete silence, enjoying yourself. You become in command. Like you are standing in the water, you are afraid of getting drowned. But if you get into the boat, you enjoy the water. But supposing you become a master swimmer, then you can save others also from the water. This is exactly what happens when a Sahaja Yogi establishes himself well, that he can give salvation to so many and can save so many people. This is how we are going to emancipate people. Now the emotional side that we have is also another extreme to which we move. And with the help of certain elements, you will be surprised one candle can at least cure 25 mad people. At least. It's very simple. If you enlighten this light, then what happens? That enlightened light goes inside your left side and enlightens it completely, and all the negativity disappears into your collective subconscious. And you no more suffer from the left side of insanity, epilepsy, schizophrenia, all this nonsense. Because you stand in the center. You are neither on the left nor on the right, but you are in the center. You get rid of your emotional problems.